After a whole decade of GTA 5 content, a lot of what you might think is common knowledge is actually just a lot of misinformation. Some facts you believe are entirely false, and real facts you probably deny are true, like off-road tires making your car faster. So today I'm gonna deep dive the biggest misconceptions. Do off-road wheels make your car faster? The short answer is yes, and I try to explain it in a YouTube short, but this was a controversial take. The video got over 14 million views and tons of comments debating it, but one guy by the name of Kabora VT was just lethal with the facts. First, this guy got a bunch of likes saying,
"The wheels don't matter for traction as much, just bump absorption."
But Kabora VT clapped back with a whole paragraph explanation of how tires in GTA work. It actually doesn't matter on the wheel type. There are a variety of wheels all within different classes that offer the same effect. He then goes on to give a list of the most effective wheels for street driving in the game, and says they all offer front traction bias, shifting more of the car's weight to the front tires, meaning that when you use other wheels, the weight of the car is heavier on the rear end by a small amount. However, that would mean there's a higher chance you can lose traction if you don't use the wheels he listed. The next misconception that was recently proven true, bear with me because this one is even more shocking than the last. NPCs aren't actually coded to drive into you.
Good luck, everybody else!
A great YouTuber by the name of Obvious Malcolm Plus made a 26-minute deep dive into the coding of GTA 5, and he pretty much explains that what you run into is NPC scenarios.
This, my friends, what you're seeing is a scenario. They do not give a shit about crash detection. They will play out the scenario until they're clear to join traffic.
So every time you get hit by an NPC, it's either just bad timing with traffic or another issue known as desync errors. The best example of a desync error would be when you're playing with one of your friends, and on your end it looks like they keep crashing into everything, but on their end they're doing the most diabolical traffic cuts with perfect gameplay. So when you're in a lobby with a bunch of people and driving by yourself, NPCs might spawn in front of you based off the actions of other players. Speaking of other players, you've probably heard someone talk about an infinite money glitch, or a money glitch that'll give you $4 million in minutes. And I'm honestly sorry if you've seen a bunch of these videos, because I think I accidentally made this go viral. Back when I started posting on TikTok in 2021, I thought it would be funny to have people troll their friends by wasting their time. So I made this video.
Here's the fastest way you can make $40 million and get a high rank in GTA 5. The next step, follow me and then tag your friends to waste their time.
This video quickly became my most viral at the time, gaining 7 million views and nearly 20,000 comments of people going along with the joke. So of course I just spammed videos like this, and now 4 years later, I still see people doing it. Anyway, I only wanted to talk about this because there's a misconception that infinite money glitches exist. Occasionally there will be a new money glitch that works, but then everyone that does it gets their account reset, which doesn't mean they get banned, but everything they had on their account is taken away. The Mount Chiliad mural has been one of the biggest conspiracies in GTA 5 since the game was released, and for anyone who stays on top of the whole game series, you'd know that the mural is actually connected to GTA San Andreas because of this jetpack image right here. The first time Rockstar introduced a jetpack was during the Black Project mission in GTA San Andreas, when CJ is asked by the Truth to infiltrate Area 69 and retrieve this experimental device. After completing the mission, the jetpack became available at the Verdant Meadows airfield and played a crucial role in another mission, Green Goo, where CJ uses it to break into a heavily guarded train and steal a mysterious jar of green substance. So of course, when people first saw this in GTA 5, there's a bunch of rumors about potential aliens, jetpacks, and UFOs. Then later in the Doomsday update in 2017, the thruster was released, and this caused a ton of people to talk about the Mount Chiliad mural. But the truth is, an ex-Rockstar designer, Ben Hinchcliffe, who worked on the early creation of GTA Online, said in this interview that the Mount Chiliad mural was added most likely to mess with people. And the reason so many people believed it had more to do with the game's storyline is because of the UFO scene at the top of the mural. As you probably know, after completing 100% of GTA 5 story mode, you can visit the top of Mount Chiliad and see a UFO, but after years of research and people speculating, I think it's safe to say the Mount Chiliad mural doesn't have much significance. While we're talking about conspiracies and in-game Easter eggs, there's a major misconception I haven't haven't mentioned yet. Despite every GTA player thinking they know every hidden message and Easter egg left by Rockstar, I mean, most likely because of the hundreds of videos reviewing every inch of the map, but what you probably don't know is every few years, Rockstar lets us know that we still haven't found every hidden message in the game. I'm not sure if this is just a marketing tactic to get us to play the game more, but if you think you found something no one else knows about, let me know in the comments. Something new I did learn from the comments was a while back about this skeleton in the ocean. First, let me give you some context. At the time I came across a GTA 5 video titled, "I Find Dinosaur Bones in GTA 5. It had barely any views and was posted in 2019 with 2 comments. One guy was losing his mind, and the other guy was confirming that this was actually in the game. So I went to the same location on the map he was at and found the same exact bones.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts.
Now, believe it or not, I'm actually not a paleontologist, so I couldn't tell whether this was actually a dinosaur or another water-breathing animal. I guess the bad grammar in the video title should have been enough for me to do more research. But anyway, for anyone I misled on accident, yeah, this is just a whale skeleton and has nothing else to do with the storyline. Another huge misconception that a lot of players weren't willing to accept is that all the traffic in front of you will disappear if you change the camera angle. Once again, I posted a YouTube short trying to explain this, but I didn't explain it thoroughly, and it only works under certain conditions. The easiest way you can do this is if you're in story mode or in a solo online lobby by yourself. The reason being is when you flip your camera angle, the game will only load what it can see. So if I stand right here, I can see the car spawning in at the end of the street and nothing else spawning in behind them. That's because the game only loads what it needs to, so players have the best performance. And whenever you get in your car and drive with the camera flipped, the same logic applies, and the cars only spawn where you're looking. However, there's 2 issues you can run into when attempting to use this to your advantage. The obvious one is other players nearby spawning cars in because of the direction they're looking, then those cars eventually hitting you. Now, the other issue that needed to be explained a little more is when you first flip your camera, your game will take a second to stop spawning cars in the direction you were just facing. Just because you flip your camera doesn't mean all the cars you saw coming your way are gonna despawn, and not until they pass you will there be nothing else coming from that direction. So we can obviously see that car driving towards me. Now, when I flip my camera, that car isn't going to despawn, but if you keep your camera flipped after hitting the last car that spawned in, as you can see, there's no cars that'll spawn in front of me when I keep the camera flipped. This can only really be useful if you're speedrunning and have a straightaway road, because if there's any turns on the road, you're most likely going to crash anyway. In multiple myth-busting YouTube shorts posted by Spears the Amazing HD, he says you can fall on certain things like dumpsters, hot dog stands, and any umbrella from any height to survive. To be fair, I think he was just doing this to troll people, but it did make a ton of new GTA players believe it was true, and truth be told, these things don't save you from fall damage. As you can see, here's me falling onto a dumpster. But another common misconception with fall damage is that water will save you from any height you fall from, and it's actually not true, because if you were to fall into a pool or jacuzzi from high enough, then you'll still take fall damage when you hit the bottom of the pool. But on the other hand, if there's nothing to hit when you fall in the water like the ocean, you can go to the max height in a helicopter, then dive all the way down and take no fall damage. This next one is a little different from the others, but most people don't actually know about this. In the game, when you throw C4, you can blow it up by shooting, and you've probably even seen people trying to shoot it out of the air after throwing it, but in real life, C4 doesn't actually explode if you shoot it, or even light it on fire. Before it's wrapped up, the substance to make C4 is like Play-Doh, and you pretty much don't have to worry about it exploding. But this is just something I was surprised by, because it makes total sense that it would explode. The cops in GTA 5 seem to be pretty unreasonable, and will shoot you for just about anything you do. So let's talk about some of their major misconceptions. I always had the perception that cops will shoot you if you hold a gun around them, but the reality is they'll only start shooting if you aim at them, which is pretty reasonable. Now, some of you might say they'll shoot at you if you get too close to them with a gun, but that's just in general. Whenever you stand around a cop for too long, with or without a gun, they'll eventually shoot you anyway. Another thing people have commented on my videos is when you switch cars while you have a wanted level, your player icon will get dark darker, meaning the cops won't recognize you and you'll get a chance to escape. Although this is true in story mode, some content creators have misled people to believe this also works in GTA Online, which is not true. But what does work in online is hiding in a tall bush. The same dark icon feature still works in GTA Online, but a little bit different. So even though you can't fake out cops by simply stealing an NPC car, you are allowed to hide in a bush. Lastly, for the biggest misconception in GTA 5, I figured I'd save the best for last. Now I have made a short about this too, but surprisingly it didn't get any backlash like the other ones. When you buy a gun, you have a few different attachments you can add, and while scrolling through the attachments, you can also see the gun's stats changing. For years, I always thought the suppressor made guns deal less damage because of these stats right here. Then one day I came across this video by PRG, "Do suppressed weapons affect damage?" Instantly, I reconsidered my whole life up until this point. But before I came to conclusions, I watched the 1-minute video, and 68 seconds later, I realized I was being finessed this whole time. But I guess it's not an utter lie that it deals less damage, but when comparing any gun with and without a suppressor, there's no difference in how many shots it'll take to kill someone. Well, unless you use a shotgun at long range, but anyone who does this should be penalized anyway. For example, using the carbine rifle, without a suppressor, it takes 6 shots to kill someone, and when you add the suppressor, it still takes 6 shots to kill someone. The only argument I've seen against this is that the stat says it decreases damage and range, meaning they work hand in hand. The further you shoot with the suppressor, the less damage you'll do. But here's what actually happens. At range, it does decrease the damage, but it's so insignificant that it doesn't matter. So if you want to watch me use the deadliest gun in the game, click this video right here and subscribe. Also, let me know more misconceptions in the comments for possibly a part 2.